What you're about to hear is Maurice talking about exactly what he's talking. Listen.
Because I didn't know what was going on.
He didn't know what was going
there was
on.
a body laying there, and I thought, matter of fact, I thought he had shot the place
And
up
then
himself.
Then they asked the stripper if it was inside or out. Listen.
Was it inside of your store or right outside? Well, from what I was hearing, it was inside the store. It was inside the store.
Boom. You just heard it out of her own mouth, from the Makita stripper mouth, that it happened inside the store. Boom. Now there needs to be no argument about that. You heard it right from her. The lady asked a simple question. Did the shooting happen inside or outside your store? She gave a simple answer. From what I understand, it happened inside the store. Okay, cool. We just got word. All right. So now, who called 911? Who is the person that called 911 if it happened inside the store? Because what we're hearing is that the laundromat next door to the abandoned, already boarded up business, next door to that, the laundromat is the one that called 911. And apparently MPD, instead of pulling up to the 911 call, what they did was just call Makita's Bakery's phone line. And you know who answered the phone? The owner dad, the stripper dad, Maurice Hill. He answered the phone. First of all, when does 911 call the people that's getting the call on? If the laundromat called 911 about the Makitas, something going on over there, why the hell is 911 calling Makitas? Never have I ever heard of somebody calling 911 and then 911 calls the other person to make sure it's straight, the story's straight. That's a glitch in the matrix, folks. It's a glitch in the matrix. And that glitch happened because MPD is working with Makitas. And why do I think that? Why would somebody think that? Well, get this. If they have to call Makitas after they get 911 calls, what are they really trying to do by that? They trying to figure out if Dolph survived or not. Because if it was somebody helping Dolph that answered and said, somebody got hit, they're still alive, send the ambulance, then MPD's going to tell the hitmen to lap the block and clean it up again. Or they going to clean it up their own damn self. So that's why they're calling the shop after 911 calls are coming in saying there was a shooting that we just heard, shots fired. The police is supposed to immediately respond with several units, okay? They're not supposed to call the place and check to see, ask questions and when the police mentality is they shoot first and ask questions later. This is the one time in history I ever heard where they called to ask questions. Isn't that crazy? All right. Yeah, like when has 12 ever called you? That's never happened. That just don't happen? How does 12 call people? You call the 12 and they come pull up on you. That's how that goes. So why are they calling them? That's just a flag, red flag number 1. Red flag number 2 is when they actually eventually show up, they did not secure the perimeter. They let all them bystanders walk by, confirm that it was Dolph to because they was in on it too. They let all the people come walk up on there and confirm the hit. They did not canvass the crime scene to look for any weapons, to look for rounds of ammunition, shells. They did not immediately start doing the procedures that they need to do. Honestly, they didn't even look like they were in a hurry to try to give CPR or any kind of medical attention if they could, because they were walking slow with the stretcher and all that. They had already known bro was gone, man. Rest in peace to Dolph, though. But that just goes to tell you that the popo was also not acting right. They calling Makitas. They pulling up, really not giving a fuck. Like, they waited maybe like 3-4 minutes until people was walking up all the way in the parking lot, kind of peeking their head to see Dolph. And all these people that's yelling, they just heard the 50 shots. They're not actually, they only one officer was going around and asking if anybody has seen something. All the other ones, they were standing and literally texting. They were standing and texting around, and I think only one of the officers really got close enough to somebody that had a camera that posted a video on Facebook. You can't even tell if they got a body camera on. You know, it's some departments where they rather just not have any of them cameras at all. That way they could all just kind of agree to a certain story that somebody's going to write. So that kind of looked like what's going on, man, because they had an officer just walking and talking with Maurice Hill, and Maurice had his hat on the whole time, and he's pointing and shit like he running the place, you know what I mean? It's like, it almost seemed like they were on a construction scene. Maurice was just telling them like, yeah, you know, pointing here and there, like they was construction workers trying to look at the plan of the building or something, you know, or the mess that they made. So that's kind of what that vibe was when the police showed up. They was lollygagging. You know how when you see a construction worker and there's this one dude working and then there's 10 people just watching him? That's what it was like. It was like one officer going around and he was asking the people if they saw something, and everybody else was on their phone looking at a picture to make sure that the person that was, you know, on there on the ground was Dolph. They were probably pulling up a photo and then looking at the photo and looking at the person on the ground, making sure, confirming to themselves that it was Dolph, so they could, you know, let whoever needs to know anything. So that's just an interesting thing I had picked up. Just the way that they were on the scene, very relaxed, very lackadaisical. They were letting people just walk all up and down it. I mean, if it was one of their own Blue Lives that went down, you know they wouldn't let the people walk up and take videos like that. They would have been on edge. They would have drew their own weapons for their safety. That's another thing too. If a shooting like that just happened, why ain't none of the officers drew their weapon or like told the crowd to get back for their safety? They really didn't care. The only reason they told the crowd to get back was that they was gonna block their car in if they weren't a witness. So the cops really didn't give a fuck about any of the people that were out there, unless you were a witness. Then they just gonna block your car in, right? What? If you're not a witness, they gonna block your car in. Okay. So the witnesses don't get their car blocked in, so the witnesses can leave and not tell the story. That's what I'm picking up out of it. Let me know what you